Tonight on the South Today, a Christchurch gang pad is forfeited to police after an investigation into their crime activities. Wanaka celebrates the opening of their new Marine Rescue Centre, giving their new boat a very special name. And primary school pupils are getting their hands dirty while learning to grow and prepare their own veggies. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. The Christchurch headquarters of the Headhunters gang has been forfeited under the Criminal Proceeds Recovery Act. A High Court decision has allowed police to take the gang pad in Wigram off the group's hands. Police initially restrained the Headhunters property in 2017 following a major investigation into the gang's involvement in organised crime and drug offences. The High Court ordered the forfeiture of the property on Vickeries Road, along with more than $6,000 and a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Police made the application on the grounds members of the Headhunters were deeply involved in the sale and supply of methamphetamine. The court found the gang was funding itself from significant criminal activity, including drug dealing and unlicensed gaming machines. Police say they are committed to targeting and disrupting gang activity and blocking proceeds derived from such offending. A person is in hospital following a car crash in St Leonards earlier today. An ambulance was sent out to State Highway 88 between Dunedin and Port Chalmers just after 10:30 this morning after a car was shunted off the road. Emergency services responded to reports of a vehicle colliding with two parked cars. One person has been taken to Dunedin Hospital with moderate injuries. Wanaka's Coast Guards have come together with members of the community to celebrate the opening of their new Marine Rescue Centre. The celebrations included welcoming a new boat whose name pays tribute to a life lost on the local lake.
Changing up tradition from smashing a bottle to pouring it, as Wanaka's new rescue boat is being christened. A ceremony was held recently for the official opening of the new Marine Rescue Centre for the Wanaka Lakes Coast Guard. Local resident Jonathan Wallace thanking volunteers for the work they do. The team were involved in recovering the body of his younger brother Matthew from the lake in 2018.
It's a cold water environment, you know, and it's important that we do have that level of safety that sits over above it.
The new rescue boat has been named Waiariki, meaning Stevenson's Arm. That's the part of the lake where Matthew Wallace's helicopter crashed. Volunteers from Wanaka Lake Rescue were impressed with the new facilities.
And I found it very emotional to find 15 years ago when we had nothing to come to this is a real credit to the people before and the past and the current members.
The new boat's a big improvement on their last vessel, leaving rescuers new and old excited.
I think it's wonderful and a real tribute here to Jonathan and his team.
We saw it on the lake the other day and it looked absolutely fantastic.
The ceremony was also a thank you to Wanaka Lakes Rescue, which had an unexpected rescue last week, retrieving the body of a missing Korean tourist from Roy's Bay in Wanaka, the South Today.
Protesters gathered on the grounds of Otago University yesterday, raising awareness for the abuse of women's rights and human rights in Iran. The group of students and supporters carried the Iranian flag, chanting and holding up signs calling to free Iran. Their efforts joined more than 200 demonstrations taking place around the world in a show of solidarity with Iranians who are fighting for women's rights. Iran has seen a flurry of protests since September following the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in custody. The young woman had been detained for not wearing a hijab correctly. Final preparations are underway for the return of Dunedin's annual Santa Parade this Sunday, although one of the most recognisable floats has been grounded.
Locals are set to welcome Father Christmas back to the main streets this Sunday afternoon after last year's event had to be cancelled due to COVID. Since then, Central George Street has had a partial makeover, with some blocks converted to a one-way shared space. This giant albatross has been part of Dunedin's annual Santa Parade for many years. Now Santa Parade organisers have revealed that they've been forced to clip the wings of the giant albatross float, as the wide structure wouldn't be able to negotiate the newly refurbished part of George Street. but they are confident the rest of the popular floats will still fit along the route, including the Jolly Red Man himself. The Christmas convoy is due to start this Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Wanaka primary school pupils are getting their hands dirty in the garden and in the kitchen. A new garden to table program is teaching kids to grow their own produce and then turn it into tasty treats.
From a packet of seeds to a vegetable feast, Wanaka primary school pupils are growing their own produce in this specially designed garden, built with support from the EnviroSchools program. And the fun continues in the kitchen, with the kids tasked with serving up healthy meals that they've cooked themselves using menu ideas from the Garden to Table Trust. Their teacher believes it's a great way to encourage independence.
We want the garden to be a garden that they have ownership of, so they've been very much involved in the construction of the garden itself, the planting, and now they're creating the food in the kitchen as part of the Garden to Table programme.
EnviroSchools supports a range of sustainability programs in schools around the country. They reckon unlocking the natural curiosity of kids is the key to success.
We're very much about encouraging child-led action, so it's something that the children are passionate about, and I know that's been a driver here as well. This is something that the students in the whānau wanted too, and I think that's how these things come together.
Teachers have found the garden's also a great way of helping the school connect with the wider community. They're now on the lookout for volunteers to help keep the garden weeded and watered over the summer break, with the bonus of getting to enjoy some of the fruits of the free harvest. In Wanaka, the South Today.
Whai Yakane, still to come on the South Today. A young Christchurch baker rises to the top, taking out a top national prize. And rugby fans line up to hear from local star Ben Smith as he releases a new book on his career.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities, including Little Bobs.
Need a bed? It's Monster Mattress Madness at My Mate John's at prices that won't be beaten. He's knocked 25% off all beds and bedroom furniture. There's 50% off selected ranges, and just for good measure, he's upsizing King and Queen for free as well. Plus, he's got 18 months interest free. Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, and online at mymatejohn.co.nz.
Furniture from Stafford Street and My Mate John.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency, and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. A young Christchurch bakery apprentice has brought in the dough, allowing her to fund her cooking dreams. Bohemian Bakery's craft bread baker Emily Bailey spent 2 months preparing for the Young Bread Baker of the Year competition and rose to the challenge.
Being the best and winning 10 grand to prove it was not what this year's 2022 Young Bread Maker of the Year expected. Bohemian Bakery's Emily Bailey in Christchurch has been awarded the $10,000 research grant from the New Zealand Association of Bakers, following 2 gruelling days of theoretical and practical testing.
I was in shock. I didn't expect to win it at all. I was the youngest competitor with the least experience, and I thought that my competitors were going to get it over me. I think I almost actually cried.
Bailey is a third-year apprentice and originally from Hokitika. She's been baking professionally for 2 years and saw the competition as a chance to get more experience, particularly in her favourite area, baking bread.
I like eating the sweet fruit breads, so I think I'd love making those the most. And some of the things you can make with them, some of the plats you can make are very pretty, and who doesn't like a pretty bread?
Bailey hopes she can use her grant money to get some hands-on experience and investigate some of the methods bakers use overseas.
I think I enjoy seeing from start to finish. I enjoy seeing the ingredients change and knowing how to tell if it's ready or not. There's all sorts of little bits to it that are, if you're not a baker or you haven't trained anyway, you wouldn't know. And it's really cool to have that knowledge.
With a research trip in the future and only 1 year left of her apprenticeship, Bailey thinks her future is sure to rise. In Christchurch, the South Today.
All Blacks and Highlanders rugby star Ben Smith paid a visit to Dunedin's Green Island Rugby Club this week to meet fans and sign copies of his new book. About 150 fans turned out to a special event at the rugby club to hear the Otago rugby great introduce his new book, More Than a Game. Smith worked on the book alongside author and former ODT reporter Neil Wallace. It traces his rise from club rugby days through to the international stage, including highlights from his record-breaking 153-match stint with the Highlanders franchise. Smith cemented his place among New Zealand rugby's greats with 84 test appearances as an All Black. Many young fans were delighted to get their copies of the book signed by the rugby legend himself. And the Highlanders franchise has announced that Ben Smith and another former co-captain, Nasi Manu, have joined their management team for the 2023 season. Smith will work with the team 2 days a week in a specialist coaching role. Meanwhile, Manu has joined the Highlanders in an operations and player mentoring role. The Headhunters headquarters in Christchurch has been forfeited after investigations into illegal activity. A new boat at the Wanaka Marine Rescue Centre is named in tribute to former helicopter pilot Matthew Wallace. And a new garden to table program is teaching some kids how to grow and serve up healthy meals using their own produce. Time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, a cold southwesterly airflow will blow over the region tomorrow with a weak trough of low pressure moving away and easing during the weekend. Heading to the top of the South Island, fine with southwesterlies and 18 degrees tomorrow in Nelson. Showery and windy in Greymouth with 15, while the rain should ease in Christchurch with a 13-degree high. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago. Wet and windy with southwesterlies through here and 13s for Friday in Ashburton, Timaru and Oamaru. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes, well, mostly fine tomorrow with southwest winds across the board. Wanaka and Alexandra head for 16 tomorrow with 15 over in Queenstown. Heading further south, well, showers at times tomorrow, clearing up after lunch with southwesterlies, 14 degrees in Balclutha, Gore and the Catlins. And down to the deep south, cloudy and windy with showers tonight in Invercargill, dropping to 7. Then mostly cloudy again tomorrow with strong southwesterlies and showers, the high 12. And into the weekend, it's looking mostly fine and sunny with cloud and westerlies and a warmer day with 16 degrees. And finally heading to Dunedin. Breezy southwesterlies tonight and down to 8 degrees. A sunny morning first up tomorrow before a cloudy afternoon with rain easing to showers and gusty winds up to 13 degrees. Then Saturday looks cloudy and cool with a southwest to northeast change in winds along with a high of 17 degrees. And that's the news this Thursday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite a pōpō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.